She would mock my pen-holding method, likening it to strangling the object. "It's because you never learned properly," she'd sneer, flicking her hair behind an ear in a regal manner. Dropouts from high school overlook basic skills. I'd merely smile and acquiesce, allowing her to triumph in those instances. However, I vividly recall every phrase, particularly the ones uttered years after the divorce was finalized and the wedding ring bearing another's name had lost its luster. "My new husband is a Harvard graduate," she announced, tilting her head in a more menacing than casual manner. "A department head. Not like you." To which I retorted, as tranquil as twilight, "But he'll be jobless come tomorrow." However, the narrative doesn't begin with the divorce or its aftermath. It starts 2 years later, during my gradual reconstruction process, repairing the remnants of myself, one sleepless night and quiet dawn at a time. I had little, a modest office, a coffee maker that consistently dripped, a business that others doubted, only supported by those who had bled for it. What I possessed was resilience, not the polished kind taught in schools, but the hard-earned one that comes when life reduces you to your essence and challenges you to rise again. I hadn't seen her in months, just fleeting glimpses on social media. For a while, her wedding photos were ubiquitous. Him in a tuxedo, her in ivory, his hand on her hip, their smiles too perfect, forced. I continued scrolling. Then one Monday morning, I received a resume. I fixed my gaze on the name. Jonathan H. Caldwell. Initially, it meant nothing. Then I opened the file. Department Head of Strategic Operations. Harvard MBA. Partnered with a government R&D contractor. 5 years of executive leadership. And married to her. A detail subtly hidden among other references like a concealed landmine. At first, I chuckled. A quiet, broken sound beneath my breath. She had married a man who was now seeking employment at my company. But the laughter soon dissipated. As I delved further into the material, it became increasingly evident that he was unaware of my identity. His application could be described as thoughtless, anxious, or sloppy. My company had expanded, though not through deliberate publicity. We operated covertly. We focused on matters significant to clients who refrained from advertising their names on buildings. We didn't rely on advertisements. Instead, we provided solutions. And we were currently hiring. I invited him for an interview. Upon entering, he wore polished footwear and a revamped version of the smile I had seen in wedding photographs. He failed to recognize me initially. Perhaps my beard played a role, or perhaps he never paid attention to those beneath his social stratum. He took a seat, made his pitch, and I listened attentively for 20 minutes straight. His discourse was filled with buzzwords and empty promises. He excelled at it, delivering smooth, rehearsed, and polished performances. However, the flaws were apparent. The fear was visible. When I eventually spoke, I merely asked a question. "Does your wife still label people based on their GPA?" This query seemed to catch his attention, as he momentarily blinked twice before his expression altered. Pallid and tense, as if informed his car brakes had failed. He began, "You're?" I conceded with a nod, settling back. "I'm him," I admitted, referring to the man she abandoned, the one who obsessively clicked pins, the college dropout. He remained mute, merely swallowing. I could have dismissed him then, instructing his departure. Yet I refrained. Instead, I allowed him discomfort, enabling him to justify the turbulent market, depleted funding, fractured R&D contract, and his search for alternatives. He employed that phrase as a barrier. Later, he inquired if she was aware. I tilted my head subtly. "She will be." That evening, she phoned me. I waited for the calls, let them ring twice before responding. "Why?" she demanded, eschewing greetings and pleasantries, embodying rage beneath a facade of grace. "Why would you do this?" I replied. "I didn't act," I asserted. He approached me, feeling shamed. "No," I said. I questioned him, maintaining professionalism until he broached her subject. A pause followed, then she spoke, the statement that concluded the cycle. "You'll never achieve what he has." I responded promptly, my voice soft yet firm. "He will be jobless tomorrow." The abrupt intake of breath was palpable. The ensuing silence was the type that fills the void when a delusion is shattered beyond repair. "I constructed this company from scratch," I stated. "While you ridiculed me for not completing high school, I was teaching myself late at night, bleeding into projects that others dismissed as futile. I didn't require an Ivy League education. What I needed was failure. You provided more than enough. She disconnected the call then. That was 2 years ago. He has yet to secure a job in our field since. The last I heard, he teaches online courses at night. She launched a blog, one of those introspective self-discovery journals. I recall reading a post once. It spoke about betrayal, about the masks people don. It did not mention names, but I recognized each wound as my own. Interestingly, I don't harbor animosity towards her. I don't cherish her either. She was a tempest I endured, and I learned to construct from the debris. Some people ascend ladders. Others excavate themselves from graves. I've given up anticipating aid from others. When the dust settled, I found myself upright, not atop a platform, but on my solid ground, my own two legs.